Content!
UBW had one title.
Yes.
Do you think it would have added...
It didn't have
more...
one title. It had 2 titles.
Not the BBW title, come on. Which we've been in before. We know what happened with that, right? Do you think if UBW had like a tag team division, or for instance, if we tried to get maybe a women's division going, or something else like anything else?
Huge.
Do you think having one title and one title alone hurt UBW? Or
Interestingly enough,
you know where I'm going with this.
This is something that we were discussing last night, actually. I feel that having a tag team division
in Wild Stallions and Ace Payne.
Right. Let's have a look at exactly what tag teams we could have worked out. You got the Wild Stallions, which is one of the finest tag teams to ever grace British wrestling, without a shadow of a doubt.
Undefeated,
right?
Never lost a match.
And then we've got Ace Payne, right?
Undefeated.
Who else can we use that isn't just tag teams?
Josh and Ryan, clearly. But it would mean acknowledging that they're brothers. Which we never did.
Freak and Goo Goo Boy could have been a tag team.
Yeah, but they would have been a jobber tag team.
So?
Okay, so put them against Ace Payne and you've got the comedy match of the year.
Yep.
Right? Pete and Johnny could have been a tag team.
Pete and Johnny, yeah.
There's a possibility.
They could have been called the Northerners.
Right, so hang on a minute. Right. Is it just me, or would Johnny and Pete have just been two wrestlers who were clearly singles wrestlers smashed together to form a tag team?
Okay, well,
sort
if we're
of
going to talk about that,
Cesaro
what was the main event of Fully Loaded 98?
Fully 98. Fully Loaded?
98.
Undertaker and Stone Cold versus Kane.
That's to answer your question.
I need a hobby.
No, I need a hobby.
badly.
But that's to answer your question, Dave. It doesn't matter who you throw together. It matters about the chemistry that those people have together.
Alex Shelley and Chris Sabre.
Motor City Machine Guns. Yeah.
One of the finest tag teams of our time.
Who's like in that, like the two most random people that got put together and actually made something good out of it?
Lex Luger and British Bulldog.
Wow. Okay, that ends it. That kills it. Just stop the recording now.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
I would have loved tag team titles. I always said, went to the point where we said on the BBW UK one, I fucking hated that belt.
Yeah.
Hated the concept of it. If it was up to me, our secondary title would have been a tag team belt.
I agree with most of that. The reason that we had the BBW title was obviously because we were affiliated with
Visual Devastation.
Visual Devastation, and
Battleborn Wrestling.
Whatever you want to say about Battleborn Wrestling or anything like that, it was promotion for us. It was promotion. We didn't know that at the time.
No, we didn't know that at the time.
We didn't know that at the time. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. If you want to turn around and look at it from a logical standpoint, at that point we had the BBW title because we had the mutual agreement going on with Visual Devastation, and it was a mutual thing. We gave them cross promotion, they gave us cross promotion, and we got featured on videos that were showcased to American viewers and stuff like that, which obviously increased our views.
Have you watched You versus Me and heard his commentary, my debut match? Apparently we have viewers in Lithuania.
Apparently so, yes. What?
I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've seen that one.
I showed that match to my dad, right, and he's saying, you really have people watching all over Europe?
Because the way that YouTube...
And I was like, apparently so, mate.
The way that the UBW analytics works, I could go onto the video and I could see where all our viewers from, and we had views from Lithuania.
I mean, fair play. But this is what I'm saying, it was literally... The reason that we had the BBW title was to increase our viewer count, so that we could gain more fans and stuff like that, which is exactly what it did.
Yeah.
For the most part, and you can't deny that. Regardless of what you think of the BBW title or anything like that,
It was stupid.
Okay, excuse me. Somehow I got lumbered with it.
We still don't. We did an episode on it, which I'm sure you viewers have already seen because it was released ages ago.
Yes, all four of you. Yeah.
But we still don't understand how Dan got the belt. We just don't understand it.
Well, he won that battle royal, didn't it?
Whose idea? It's Pete's idea to bring the title in. Who decided?
Do you know what I said to Pete when he handed me the belt? I said to him, why aren't they full?
the 4 or 5 bits.
Yeah, 6.
6 was it?
I said, why aren't they full? I think Pete said, well, at least the belt works.
Oh, fuck's sake.
So, I was sat there and I was looking at this and I was thinking, how can I make this credible?
Right.
You can't. I gave Johnny a half Nelson suplex.
That
was the
awesome.
one memory I have from
the
dragon suplex. Sorry, yeah, game of dragon.
Yeah, we did the whole chin
way.
breaker into the dragon suplex, which was fucking beautiful.
I'm lying on the
spot.
floor talking to Liam Starr saying, "What's the finish?" Because we did that 5-way.
Yeah.
And it's like lying there, like, "What's the finish?" She's like, "I'll hit a cutter on Dave and then you pin him." I was like, "All right," and then we went with it. Because you were a freak at that, yeah. Hey, if you watch
Wait,
it.
what?
Sorry,
I was
spoilers.
freak?
Yeah.
When was
Spoilers,
when was this discussed? No, yeah. It's I feel like a lot of issues that we had in UBW, and this is something that we don't talk about very often, that I want to sort of like address. A lot of the time as much as we talk about how, coming up with spots like mid-match is great and stuff like that, and we have formula that builds up through matches and stuff like that, we could have definitely done at times with a little bit of just like, okay, this is what we're doing. Like a little bit of precision, almost, you know what I mean?
We tried to bring it in, didn't work. We tried to do it with one booker, for example, and they're like, this is the course, and it was just sort of, I got the book, this is the course of the company, and everyone objected.
I didn't like how we involved the being honest, I didn't like how we involved the BBW title in UBW, which goes back to my original point. If we had other titles, I mean, we couldn't have a hardcore title. We could have had a recall. We could have had a recall title.
Yep.
We couldn't
always
have
defended on recall.
Always defended on recall every week.
Yeah.
With the time
that
limit.
way you get a title match every week.
Every week, yeah.
But we couldn't have had a tag match, a tag team division.
Dan made a really good point on when we talked about...
I made a good point.
Yeah.
That's the first.
Twice in one lifetime. When you're hot, you're hot.
I have an honest degree, alright, for those of you watching.
Dan made a really good point about the BBW UK Championship, which he said, was it Pete's way of continuing BBW
Maybe.
in UBW?
Maybe. See, I've always seen it as cross promotion. That's literally all I've ever seen it as. It's added views and stuff like that, and we gained fans because of the connection that we had with Visual Devastation.
So we've got the Battleborn Wrestling logo on the start of Salvation, Doomsday, Vendetta.
Yeah.
But they only shared Salvation.
Yeah.
And after that,
hindsight.
When Domination came along,
but
it wasn't there then.
It's hindsight. This is what I'm saying. Like, obviously, as we gradually realised, like, okay, this isn't working out like as we had intended. We're going to drop the Battleborn logo.
What was the intention for the title, though? I mean,
so the whole intention was to...
It was a mid-card title.
So
it
was a mid-card title. It was basically supposed to run like the IC belt, which... Interestingly enough, if you actually think about it, Danny Ace has spent more time as champion in UBW than anyone.
That's fair.
Yeah, watch One Last Dance when I whisper in Alex Hart's ear when he's the referee. I say, make sure you tell them how long I've been the champion for. And then just so you can come over the top and say, well, hang on, he hasn't defended it in a year. Like, yeah, but that also means I haven't lost it in a year.
That's fair.
That was just me trying to be a heel. I would have been a shit heel. I was a good heel because people had the John Cena thing. But in terms of like, okay, they want someone who can beat other people up.
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking of when we did when we did Bounce for Glory, and Jackson and Hayes on commentary. This is why Champagne's been champion for this long. From this guy,
there were some UBW shows I put on in the background whilst I was cooking or something just to listen to the commentary because Tony Jackson.
I love Johnny Jackson's commentary so much.
He's so awful.
The thing is, if you go to a show and you see you dressed in your Joker outfit and you behind like the announce table, right? You'll be like, oh fuck, I'm buying the DVD just to watch, just to listen to it. Like,
Oh my god, that's what we should have done.
you'll do it tonight.
Just once. We should have had, like, literally, like...
Why was there never a UVW
ECW,
announce
when they
table?
used to record Joey Styles doing all of, like, with the shaky cam and everything, it was like building up the next match. We should have done that. Like, you and me just sat at a table, you in your Joker outfit, me in whatever attire I would have donned for Tony Jackson, because I have multiple varieties of costumes.
Tony Jackson, he doesn't half look like Extreme Days.
It's weird.
So the reason we never did,
And then just done an Excalibur and just put another mask on.
because I always felt that I would always rather.
I always imagine Tony Jackson look like Excalibur. It's like, yeah. From day one, man. It's so funny you say that.
I always wanted to do the commentary to the. You know how Michael Cole, nice, looks good. Genuinely looks good.
I'd fuck it.
You know, Michael Cole.
Wait, what?
Oh, dude, we got all night, man.
We got all night.
Cut that bit, boys.
Oh shit, yeah, we're recording out.
Michael Cole doesn't, even though he's ringside, he doesn't commentate on what he sees in the ring.
No.
He commentates what he sees on the screen.
Yeah.
So does JR.
So, yeah, exactly. So my belief was always I don't want live commentary because I want to commentate on what the viewers will see. So my thinking was if we do live commentary, imagine your tables match. So when you get slammed onto the table and you go, I didn't get onto the chair, that definitely isn't kayfabe, which is one of my all-time favourite UBW moments, even though no one fucking saw it. It's just as a holding the camera moment, one of my absolute favourites. Definitely isn't kayfabe. Fucking
I mean, you talk about some of the things that were said on commentary, and we could do a whole episode on commentary.
we probably will.
You know.
And it was one of those, that whole bit was cut out. But if I've been doing live commentary, Dave is definitely injured after that. So you end up cutting that out. So that's to answer your question.
But that's the thing, like, live commentary, for example's sake, it wouldn't have worked for the simple fact that we had the multiple camera shots. Mm-hmm. Like, so you imagine, like, you trying to run around to get on every single camera to make the commentary as crystal clear as possible.
I wanted the commentary to be what the viewer saw. That's what matters to me. And because I didn't have a live mixing desk or anything, that's the only way we could do it.
I don't totally understand that.
So, and that's what I would do is in the Salvation Doomsday Vendetta, I would edit the matches and then send them to you.
Yeah.
And you would did you record just the audio and then send it back to me?
So I would basically watch the match over, and I would do it in Windows Movie. Huh?
Sorry, I just wanted to say you said macho.
Macho?
I was going to give you a high five.
I was going to judo chop.
Let's do a high five. Right? You want to do a high five?
A high five?
There you go. You said macho.
Good contact.
Yeah. So basically, I would.
It's us. We don't hold back.
We're just awesome. We work well together. So I would record the Tony Jackson, who I was living with at the time. I would send him the videos that you sent me, and he would then record them over in Windows Movie Maker.
Right.
And that would be, the basis. So he would run over the match as it was. You're playing through. So he would comment on the things that he saw and stuff like that, and that's generally how he did things.
You had Christian Trout with you as well, didn't you?
Yes. And so we would literally him and
this keeps coming out and it pisses me off. Who the fuck is Christian Sharp?
Look, let's finish this one, then we'll move on to that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we would record in batch, like bulk episodes. I would edit them down as best I could and stuff like that, and then I would. Tony Jackson would resend them to you.
Send them to you. Send them to me. I put them onto the video.
Yeah, and there we go. Boom.
We try. I think like Salvation's like. Is it I do the opener and then you do the second, the third match, and I do the main event, for example?
Because we had situations where I would throw, I would do the opening sequences and stuff like that, and then I would throw to you, or you would throw to me and stuff like that. Like the again. Going back to the BBW Battle Royal, that was entirely done by Tony Jackson. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure that you picked up after that match.
And then there's one episode of Recall that Insano does, the whole one, with a fucking awful accent. So you just go, fuck's sake, dude. This sounds fucking terrible. One of the things I've always wanted to talk about with you, because we've had this conversation a couple of times, and it just turns
you
into... Me and you have had this conversation. Every time it turns into a burial, which I expect this one
Is
to.
this domination again?
No, not domination. It's the... I want to talk about the general managers.
Right.
Because it always turns into a fucking burial of fucking Craig Wilkes. But with the first one we need to discuss is that your friend was Christian Sharp.
Yes. Right, so
are these
here's the
people?
thing. Right,
Tell us
Christian Sharp.
Tell us how Christian Sharp came about.
Christian Sharp was he was a mate of mine. He came to the shows. He reacted.
was Reg, yeah?
Very
Was he the dude
reacted.
in the hat?
No, that was
Pash.
probably Pash, to be fair.
Pash, right.
Yeah. So you got Reg and Pash, who usually came up to the shows with me.
Was Pash the one who went, ah?
That was Reg.
Oh, that was Reg.
Reg was the one that did all the crazy pops.
In like Salvation Doomsday Vendetta.
Was that when
there's
you
always...
changed your trousers in public?
How do I edit that? I don't. I just leave it in. So on Salvation Doomsday Vendetta, there's this one voice that you hear from all the big pops. Someone's the big moves. Sorry, there's this one guy marking out like a motherfucker. That's Reg.
That's
yeah?
Reg.
Cool.
Right, because here's the thing, right? For as much as Reggie came in, he was basically. It was Freak versus Executioner.
Yes, that's the one, yeah.
It was the introduction of Freak versus Executioner, and we needed somebody to sort of right, okay, we need to bring a big guy in, we need to have some muscle in the company. We also need to have a GM. Who's going to be the GM? So, spur of the moment sort of thing, we were like, right, Reg, do you want to be champion? Do you want to be general manager? And he was like, yeah, you know what, I can do that shit. And obviously at that point in time, he bit off a little bit more than he could chew and stuff like that. Most of the time, it was a bit interesting, shall we say. But right, every single time that Reggie came to our shows, he reacted.
He did.
He reacted.
Was a fan.
He was.
No, the thing is, his promos.
And that was the thing. His promos were.
Right.
But his
Did you ever
fan
think to
reaction
yourself,
was
like,
so fucking
Did you ever
good.
think to yourself that you became a wrestling fan and your name is Mark?
That's relevant to the general manager.
No,
I'll
I'm
put that out there.
just saying, like in general, like because you're talking about people reacting and everything.
Yeah.
Like
I
we all
can't help
react.
my fucking name.
No. But what I'm trying to say, that was the joke that got me into actually being able to say something without you slapping me down.
Dude.
Like, no, what I was going to say was.
Role reversal.
Do you think that the people who weren't actually wrestling on UBW shows, like the people like the general managers, or people like Hannah, when she came down, like, do you think they were emotionally invested in whatever we would say?
Oh, definitely.
But do you think it was the same for people who were involved in it who weren't wrestling, like the
Right,
general
like-
manager,
like
like
Luke.
Max,
Oh,
when
my.
Max became like the referee and things like that? Alex Hart, when
Right,
he,
so here's the interesting thing, right? Max as referee.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to
alright.
point this out and bring this
We are
up
talking
right
about
now.
general manager.
I know. I just
yeah.
want to bring this up right now. Like Max.
Edit this.
Max
you get what
as
I
a
was saying,
referee.
though, do you think that other people who weren't involved in UBW in the sense that they weren't in matches were emotional, but still involved in the product?
I
were
think.
emotionally
This is what I'm saying.
Someone
This is what I'm saying. So you've got.
someone like Luke show. I bet.
Oh, Luke was-
I bet
yeah.
Luke literally every time he was the referee, all his dreams came true. Because he was a
the addiction
massive.
three-way. Did you see how happy he
Yeah.
was when he was helping Max up? He's got a smile on his face.
He is the biggest UBW fan in the world, and he's like, it's almost. You watch his face, and he's like, I cannot fucking believe I'm doing
and he's
this.
a fucking cool guy as well.
He
Yeah,
is.
he is.
Luke Show's
Yeah,
a great
Luke
guy.
Show, fucking awesome dude.
So he is watching. I'm sorry, I've got to include myself in this, unfortunately, but he's watching his heroes, in inverted commas. He's watching Danny Ace. He's watching Extreme Dave. He's watching Champagne.
He's wearing an
He's watching
Undertaker
Matt
t-shirt.
Harge. He's watching these people. These are the guys he looks up to. He's like, oh my god, I love UBW. He's one of the best. And what you want me to be involved in a match? What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm going to count the winning full when Champagne wins the championship. That sort of thing. Yeah, love it.
It's like.
They get one saying.
Yes, completely. Yeah. Talk about Reg.
Yeah, Reg was. He was.
Why did Reg stop being the general manager? After Vendetta, when we do Domination, always comes back to it. Arthur Hayes is the general manager. Why is that?
It's the simple. I can't speak for Reggie, obviously. It's simply a fact of like, I'm pretty sure he was just at a stage where he was like, yeah, I'm going to back out for a bit and sort of like, do whatever I can.
So one of the problems I've got with the general managers is you had Reg, who is a great bloke, and we've hung out, as you know. I've hung out with Reg, he's a great guy. But charisma, not one of his stronger points. But the thing is, and this is why this always turns into a fucking burial, compared to Craig Wilkes, Reg is fucking charisma god. Because so what it always boils down to is that I did the UBW archive for YouTube.
Charisma god.
Yeah, compared. So to make sure that there was no copyright material in our shows, I've had to watch everything we did. That means watching episodes of Recall.
Yeah.
And that means after Relentless, when Craig Wilkes becomes general manager, we have a 40-minute episode of Recall. 15 minutes of the start is Craig Wilkes doing a promo.
Yeah.
And the one thing I will say about Reg, Christian Sharp, whatever you want to call it, excuse me, every time, if you say to him, right, okay, I'm guessing that you gave him his stage direction. So you said, this is what I need you to say.
Yeah.
There's promos around the Salvation time, especially, where he's sat in a dark room, he's got the execution behind him, and he's cutting a promo. Maybe it lasts a minute, and it's saying, this is what's going to happen tonight. Fucking Craig Wilkes, 15 minutes of... This is going to happen, and bardy, and then this is going to happen. It's just like, just get to the fucking point.
I think you've hit the nail on the head, though. It's direction. It's the fact that, like, obviously,
Nail
executioner.
on the hatchet to the head. This is why you don't give me alcohol like this.
So, here's the thing. Like, you're looking at a promo. You compare one of Reggie's promos to Craig Wilkes's, for example. Say, right, Reggie's got direction. Because I'm heavily involved in the company at this point.
Were you holding the camera at this point?
Oh yeah,
right, okay,
definitely. Because I've gone round Reggie's house. We've had a couple of smokes or whatever, and I've turned around like, right, okay, this is what we need from this promo, stuff like that. So you dictate it. We dictate everything that goes on. So the promos are concise, to the point. It gets the message across. With Craig, he cut every single promo on his own.
On his own, yeah.
Which is why every single promo that he cut went 15 minutes and stuff like that, because there was no...
I'm watching these recalls just as a fan, if nothing else.
Craig, I just want to point out, mate, love you.
Yeah, I've got no problem with Craig Wilkes the man, but it's just that you sit watching the recalls. His promos are always at the start of recalls, so you sat there as a fan, you just get to the point.
I want to see somebody chokeslam somebody.
Do you think we spent too much time on focusing on finishes and storyline advancement rather than character development?
Yes,
was the general manager,
I agree
or
with
just
that.
in general?
No, just in general, because Dave had no real character to speak of.
Extreme Dave that faced me on Recall 3, I remember that, on Recall 3 is the exact same Dave who faced me on your farewell match.
There's no character development.
You said, when we talked about Extreme Dave on one of these Chronicles, you said, why is he called Extreme Dave?
Yeah.
So because he does things extreme, such as what?
What are these extreme things that he has done?
I thought this was my chance to try and get myself sort of noticed, if in that sense. Because like I said with you, with your matches, I had to do something good. I had to make myself noticeable, right? Which is why I beat the shit out of you. Because...
I can't say anything. I let you beat the shit out of me.
Yeah. Obviously, 50-50 in a wrestling match, you got to understand that. But at the same time, do you think we put enough time and effort you know what I mean? Yeah. Do you think we put enough time and effort into develop? And this goes back to I'm not thinking of like Attitude Era here, but did we develop enough new stars and enough new people to be sort of recognised? Swimbad was one, Alex Hart was another. Yeah. K-Bar came along, but he kind of got phased into the mid card. Do you think we spent more time focusing on the title matches and what was going on there and storyline advancement rather than developing new stars and making them noticeable?
Yeah, we've talked about, if I may, Dave, we talked about when we've done these in the past, is that I think we had the UBW main event scene was the three of us, Carnage at the beginning, and everyone always knew that Johnny Magnum would get the belt. And I really genuinely feel that if UBW,
He never did.
If UBW, yeah, he would have gone eventually.
He would have done.
But
Yeah.
if UBW had gone for another year, we would have had Alex Hart and
Yeah.
Crusher J and K-Bar and Alex Hart. Those guys would have been the main eventers, and I think the three of us, we would have all become mid-card guys.
Yeah.
Maybe upper mid-card. You beat Extreme Dave in one-on-one match, you're a fucking number one contender straight away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Hi.
well, the way I described it, the
It's
Chris,
true, though.
I called it the Chris Jericho role, which is if you beat Chris Jericho when he was in WWE, if you beat Chris Jericho one-on-one, that raises you in the fans' eyes massively. And I think us three would have, because
Well, look at Cena and Angle.
yeah, exactly. Well, but yeah, good way of putting it. But I think the thing is, at least maybe from my point of view, I don't know if you guys share this, but from my point of view, I saw Alex Hart, I saw Crusher J, I had a one-on-one with him, put him over. And I just went, these guys are so much more talented than me. These are the ones who should be in the main event.
I felt that, yeah.
These are the ones who should be in the main event. So I put them over.
Yeah.
So because I don't want, if they're the main event, I don't
You know what
want to hear
UBW became?
them.
UBW became WCW in '98. You got people in, the mid card and the opening matches, people like Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, who are having these amazing matches and
then
stuff.
there's all
And
these
you got the
dinosaurs in the
yeah,
fucking main
that's
event,
it. That's
having
it.
our slow,
That's-
plodding,
Right,
methodical
no,
matches.
Right.
But I tell you one thing. Every time we all did something and we all were in the main event, we knew we had to deliver.
Absolutely.
Because we knew what came before us. And most of the time, our matches were filmed first.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah.
But this is the thing, though, right? You got to look
Because
at
of
this
that
from
reason.
an objective standpoint, because at the end of the day, like we, yes, you could turn around and say, like, yeah, we were building up Alex Hart, we were building up K-Bar, we were building up all these people to go to the main event and stuff like that. But there still needed to be that platform. You know what I mean?
But
Like,
that's the thing.
for them
you
to
said
step
to me,
up.
you said to me, and I'll show this to you today. You said to me on the day that you and me had our last match, which was your farewell, right? I was wearing my new Primark shirt. I remember that like it. I don't know why I didn't take it off. I wore it at the addiction taping, but I took it off. But I didn't take it off during our match. Our last match together. At the end of it, you came to me and you said, I wish I could have a match with, Crusher J, with, K-Bar. I
Yeah.
want to have a match with, all these people, Alex Hart. You wanted to have a match with all these people, and you didn't. But there was a reason why you wanted to face them, and it wasn't because you hadn't faced them before. It was because you knew that you would have a good match with them, and that's.
Yeah, I think time frame is a massive thing that we need to bear in mind when we talk about UBW, for the simple fact that, like, had we had like another 2 years or something like that, what would we have done with that? You know what I mean?
I stand by the fact that if we, for whatever reasons, we disbanded, if we hadn't disbanded, I honestly believe UBW could have gone for another year, 2 years, and we would have a lot more to talk about.
No, I agree with that. I
But-
agree with that.
For reasons which we've discussed in previous episodes, it didn't work. But I mean, one thing I want to talk about, which we will talk about when Mark returns from his
Things.
and he can edit this out because I know he's going to.
Haha.
Is I want to talk about the BBC meeting,
Oh God, the BB. Oh,
which is here he comes. So what we're going to do,
Here she comes.
ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause this episode, and what we're going to do is we're going to transfer to another episode where we're going to talk about that. Thank you for
Talk about
listening.
what?
Love you.
Talk about what?